Is reform just a Tory Trojan horse? Will Farage end up doing some sort of power-sharing deal which will put the Conservatives back in power? Now, Nigel Farage has today claimed reform is close to a tipping point which would see it overtake the Conservatives in opinion polls. Benedict?
A Tory Trojan horse? I can't. I can't imagine. I can't imagine a world in which actually Nigel Farage does a deal with the Tories.
He did last time, didn't he?
I don't, yes, and I sort of think based on what happened last time, I don't foresee that happening again. I think Nigel Farage recognises, for what it's worth, I don't think reform has much of a future. I think that even if they get 5, 6, 7 MPs, whatever, I think they're going to find it very difficult to sort of back up a lot of the animosity, a lot of the anger towards the Tories and a lot of the antipathy towards Labour. I don't think that you can sort of make that last over 5 years if it's just based on the cult of personality of one person. But he recognises that this is a one-off opportunity, that the Tories are going to lose a potentially catastrophic number of MPs, and that this is the moment to stick the boot in. If he were to turn around at this moment and say, "Oh, all right, chaps, all right, we'll sort you out, we'll do you a solid," how would all of those, sort of between 15 and 17% of the polls, all of those people who are clearly not fans of the Tories, are they just going to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, this is completely fine. This party that we feel fundamentally, viscerally betrayed by are going to be helped out by these people"? It would evaporate overnight. So no, I don't see there being a deal. It would be political suicide. For Farage, for anybody associated with him, and ultimately it would prop up people in the Conservative Party who the average Reform voter absolutely loathes. So no, I don't see that as a Tory Trojan horse at all.
Jenny?
I can't think he's going to make a deal, but who can know what goes on in his head? It's like trying to worry about what the cat thinks. He is somebody who is utterly untrustworthy. How he's as popular as he is amongst disaffected people, I simply don't understand. I hope the people of Clacton...
Isn't that part of the problem, though? That I think that the so-called Westminster elites, of which all four of you are part, often don't understand the appeal of Nigel Farage and what he's saying to people out there in the real world.
I think they're putting a lot of their dissatisfaction onto things he's saying, and loads of different sorts of dissatisfaction. When I was on the London Assembly, I was on it for 16 very long years. On 2 occasions, we had far-right people elected, two UKIP and 1 BNP. They were absolutely useless. They did not do the job. They didn't understand how to get things done. And they weren't re-elected. And I think that's probably what's going to happen to reform. It's just going to vanish in a puff of smoke. Mind you, I'm trying to look for some wood to touch for luck.
We don't have wood in this studio.
No, you don't. I just think, they keep sort of metamorphosizing into different bodies and without any clear agenda apart from win power. What are they going to do if they win power?
Do you think Nigel Farage will win his seat?
I certainly hope not.
Well, I know that. But that indicates that you probably do think he will.
I'm really not sure. I mean, I haven't seen any polling on this, and there's been all sorts of vox pops and so on, and there were quite a few people who just thought he was absolutely dreadful. So,
okay, Sam Friedman.
I think he will win the seat. I think he'll win it quite comfortably.
So do I.
And I don't think they'll win many seats, but I think he will win. I think then what's going to be quite interesting, given that he might be the only one or one of only a couple, is how that plays into the Tory leadership election that then follows. Because I think you're going to have every candidate is going to be asked, would you try and unify with Nigel Farage? And they'll give different answers. We've already started to see that. Suella Braverman said, I would want him in the party. Kemi Badenoch said she doesn't want him in the party. That's going to be a really important dynamic in the leadership contest just because of the nature of Tory members.
Badenoch, by the way.
Sorry, Badenoch.
The only reason I know that is because I heard her say there's no bad in Badenoch. That's the only reason I remember it.
Some of us might disagree.
Fox.
Well, that's a useful hint. The older listeners will remember the Vulcan mind meld, and I have to say that I would
Even I don't remember that.
I don't remember it. What is
I think I would need to do that in order to find out what Nigel Farage really wants. But really picking up on your point about the Westminster bubble, during the Brexit referendum, I was one of the few people I knew who expected the vote to go the way it did, because I went back to Herefordshire and talked to people where I'm from, in Herefordshire, and I was hard put to find people who wanted to stay in. So I kind of was one of the few people who wasn't surprised by that result. And that tells us the point that you were making, is we have to listen. We have to be better at listening to what people are telling us, because there are real problems and real concerns out there, and we can't dismiss them as being populist as such, because they're not populist. They're just a popular concern, a big concern for a lot of people. And the mainstream politics ignores those issues at its peril.
Couldn't agree with you more. And I think that is the problem, that a lot of political commentators don't get outside London and therefore don't talk to what you would describe as sort of, in inverted commas, normal people.